Hello and welcome to the Growing in Business interview series. I'm your host, Fleming Johnson, and today I'm joined by Joshua Menold, who is CEO at CHE Companies. Joshua, thank you so much for joining us. Would you like to kick us off with a brief background as to who you are and what you do?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Fleming, for having me. I appreciate the invite. Um, I've had the privilege of being in finance my whole career, and have had the privilege of taking over this company. And I stepped into the CEO role in December after being a CFO for many years. And I really have always had the bigger picture vision. So I'm really excited to be in this role and take this opportunity to lead CHE. Even though I didn't start it from scratch, I always take the approach of, is there a better way of doing it? And so I've taken the last 25 years of knowledge from Steven Scoggins, who started the business, and now it's moving that forward and reinvigorating it with technology and process improvement and kind of taking it to the next level. So really excited to be able to do that and grateful.
The question of starting your own business, what inspired you to start your own business, or in your case, to purchase a business and be the primary? Um,
Sure. Yeah, so I grew up in a family business. We had a farming business. So I watched my dad and my uncle do that. I watched my other uncle run a construction business, and so I didn't realize it till I got to college that wow, I grew up around business owners, and so hearing them, watching them, I always wanted to do that, and have always been looking for that path, and God finally provided that path, and so I'm excited to be on that path finally. Even though it's the hardest thing I've ever done. Um, it's it's a lot of hard work. But my grandpa in the grain bin, when you would walk into the farm, he had a thing with orange marker. It said, ITABWODI was written on the side of the grain bin, and I'd touch that every time I walked in, and it was, is there a better way of doing it? And that's just the way my grandpa taught me to think since I was little. That's the way we did things at the farm, and I've just kind of carried that forward and always applied that. And so I've always been a kind of an oddball. Always been like, hey, I thought you were a CFO, or I thought, why are you asking all these questions, right? Like that's not your role. And so I've always kind of not fit. But that's because I've always just tried to understand how things work, um, and just applied my best effort to use the gifts God's given me. And really, ultimately, I want to help others succeed. I mean, that's what I really get joy out of, is seeing other people be successful. And so a lot of those questions are really about, hey, how could this work better? How could we all do better? Right. And then that creates a real sustainable team. And I've done this at probably 5 different companies now. And so, I mean, it's just a lot of fun, and it's nice now to have it, to own a part of it now. So,
it sounds like that ITABWOVI has kind of stuck with you through life.
it has, yeah. My grandpa was a very unique individual. He came back from the army. He purchased a farm. He worked at Caterpillar. He worked really hard and built up his business. And um, he just always worked really hard. And that was just kind of my example, was you work hard, and but you work smart.
Very good. So, what are some common misconceptions about running a business and how do you address them?
I think the biggest misconception is that, if you're a construction company, that you only focus on construction, or if I'm an engineering business, I only focus on engineering, or if I've worked for an HVAC company and we only do that. It's kind of like everyone has tunnel vision into what they do, which is fantastic. They become really good at what they do and they know it well, right? But a business, to me, I've found, has been looking a little bit broader and thinking about what ultimately are you doing and how is the best process to deliver that to the market. Ultimately, you're trying to deliver a good or a service to the market that's demanding it, and they're willing to pay a price for that. And trying to figure out the most efficient way to do that, um, and create something sustainable. Because you can create something, you, you can create something that's going to deliver to the marketplace, but maybe you're churning through your team members because you're not paying them enough. So solving all those problems from IT to HR to accounting to all your automation processes to even the tools that you're giving your team to use all really matter, and they create that long sustainable growth uh, within a company. So that's probably the biggest misconception is it's not just about engineering or one thing, but it's you have to really consider all those things, and you have to value, I've always been told accounting is just a cost in the business. And so I really wanted to turn that on its head and make, okay, well, I'm not just an accountant. I am right up there with let me put my, you know, um, field hat on and let me be in the field, right? Let me think how the field thinks and let me think how an engineer is going to do plans and what does he have to do next. And so partnering with them and figuring out the smoothest way for them to work has been how I've kind of turned accounting is more a reflection of what happened. Um, Ultimately, you want your company to make the most money, and that's really what I've viewed as what I get excited about when I think of business and the opportunity it presents.
How do you maintain a work-life balance as a business owner? Do you have any personal rituals or habits that keep you motivated and focused?
Yeah, that's hard. I'll be honest, it's my kids would probably, say that I definitely work a lot, but I get up at 5 every morning, usually spend 20 minutes reading the Word, and then I, work out, and thankfully, my 16-year-old joins me in the mornings, which is fun, so I get a little chance to be time to be with her, and just over the years, I've tried to make sure that I keep intentional time with my kids. Whether it was when they were little, I did, you know, everyone got 15 minutes a night after everyone went to bed. And then as they've gotten older, it's, hey, once a month, I get to take them out. We call it daddy daughter date nights once a month. It's on their birthday day. We don't hit every one, but that's the goal, right? The goal is I'm trying to be intentional. I try to take my wife out at least every once a month, and we try to get away at least twice a year. So just try to build in that balance. And then I also serve as an elder at our church, so spend a lot of have to balance that as well. So um, yeah, I just try to be intentional and keep really ask God to lead me as far as how things work, because otherwise I don't think I could keep things straight. Honestly, I would chase too many things, and not to say I don't. Right? Let's be honest; it's challenging juggling all of it, but um, yeah.
In the constantly evolving business landscape, how do you stay adaptable and open to change? Are there any specific strategies that you use to remain innovative?
Yeah, going back to, I mean, my grandpa got me my first computer in college. I was one of the few that had one in the dorm. There was a few, and we networked our computers around campus and played games, and I mean that was really. And then when I right out of college, I was put in the first fingerprinting system in the country for a university. So and that was just trying to solve a problem. The problem was students lost their ID cards, so they would want to eat, and they couldn't eat without the student ID card. Well, you always carry your finger around, so that didn't go over so well. So I didn't know the parents didn't like that, right? They did, at the time that technology was just too advanced for what people were ready for. So uh, honestly, I mean, just I'm always listening to what others are doing. I'm trying new things. I got an iPhone as quick as I could. I download tons of apps. I try different things. I'm always trying what's coming out. Um, I love to try technology and just learn how it works, or talk to others who use it, right, and have been successful with it, and what how they've used it to benefit either what they do personally or in their business. And I know that people are always like, well, how do you know about this or how do you both know about that? And it's like, well, if you're not afraid to just open something, right? Like I download the app, I look at it for 10 minutes and I'm like, you know what? I can't use this app, but now I know about that it exists. So when you know about these different things and how they exist, you start to see how they interact and you see what potential's out there.
Could you offer a glimpse now into your future plans and goals for your business? What do you envision for the next chapter of your entrepreneurial journey?
That's a good question. Um, I mean, ultimately, I would love to, that there's a demand for good service in the marketplace for exteriors, and I would love to do that really, really well and do it so well that right now our builders want us to go across the country with them, but there's different constraints. So what I'm doing is I'm building the technology platform that will enable us to kind of be ahead of everyone else and allow us to be very flexible, but then also it puts a tool in the hands of all my team members where they can um, leverage this technology so that they can do their job easily. They can handle more. Um, yeah, I heard the other night at a dinner. I definitely didn't coin this, but I heard in the future that your team members are going to be managing AI agents. And so the idea is how are we putting this technology in place so that people can have balanced work life balance? How can we deliver a better product to our customer and more cost efficient? I mean, the price of homes is not going down, right? And so how do we help lower? How do we do our part in lowering the cost of a home so people have a home? And so that's my desire is to really figure it out and make it as efficient as possible, and then hopefully employ as many people as possible in the process profitably. um,
What advice would you offer to aspiring entrepreneurs who are, say, just starting their journey or facing challenges in their businesses?
yeah. Um, Seek wisdom, surround yourself with people that have done it before. They've walked down the path. I normally when I've had college students reach out to me and say, hey, can I grab coffee? Absolutely. Right. I know lots of people who would be happy to talk to somebody younger than them. What would it have looked like if I had known what I know now, right? Like I'd love to share those things. So seek wisdom. I think that's the most important thing. Um, you also don't limit yourself on who you're seeking wisdom from. Be open minded about it because it seems that the most curious people I've met have sometimes have the best insights that I never saw coming. So I don't precondition it based on anything, right? And then stay focused. Don't chase money. That will come, but pursue excellence, integrity, service, right? Like pursue the things that are right and good, and and then I think embrace every challenge. Don't don't look at a challenge. Look at it as an opportunity to learn. In sports, we used to say the person that's the best failed the most. I think it's the same in business, right? Like it's in life even. It applies to all of life, not just business. But don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid when you have a challenge to push through it and know that. I mean, for me personally, I look to God for my direction, and but find whatever allows you to push through things and really and stay focused. Um, and work smarter, not harder. I mean, always ask, is there a better way of doing it? I really think that's been a blessing to me, and I've seen it work for many others. So, and then just
Outstanding.
keep keep an open mind, right? Because
Yeah,
I never thought I'd be owning a siding business. So,
very good. Thank you so much for your time today, Joshua. It was great to meet you and learn about your entrepreneurial journey.
yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And to everyone watching, I look forward to seeing you in our next episode.